both of them need to balance work and life. Work and your partner, both of them deserve the attention, a certain amount of attention to make things work.
I
But
have a
both
question
people
for
are
you.
responsible for that.
My question to you is, remember when you said you can tell your husband, like, okay, hold on, wait, I'm on the phone? Would you do the same thing to your boss if your husband was on the phone? Would you tell your boss, shh, wait, or
Uh-oh.
shh, I'm
Uh-oh.
talking? Would you do that?
Uh,
Not if I'm at work, no.
But see, that's the point.
oh.
It's giving
But
more
if
respect
you're at
to.
work, that is where you
Wait,
are. If you are
Bo,
at home,
that's not
if
true,
you are at
Bohemian.
home,
If my husband calls and I'm at work and he's calling me about my kids, I will most definitely tell my
no,
boss,
for sure.
wait, I'm
Why
on the
does it gotta
phone.
be
This
about
is
the
about
kids?
my
Why
kids.
can't I just call
Absolutely,
What
you?
but
you
not no
Why
no,
can't it
arbitrary
just be
phone
about
call.
me?
How
no.
has your ambition or your success and your status influenced your romantic relationships or your dating lives?
I think there's a better standard, because for me to achieve the things that I've achieved, it required me to grow into the woman to do that. So now, you know, now what I require of a man has changed, and I think that in our society, in addition to glamorizing like I'm a boss and all this type stuff, I think there's also this thing that I want to disabuse while I have like this, while we're here on this platform, of like, we don't need men. And I don't believe that. Like, I wanted to fulfill myself, but part of that is I feel like we're in a society where women are like, I want a guy to make six figures, all of this stuff that I'm not knocking, and I'm not saying it's not important, but the reason I think that you should be financially independent, fulfill yourself, is so that you can become a woman who actually is equally yoked with the kind of person that a lot of women aspire for. Not all women. So like whatever that means to you, it's like, what are you bringing to the table, you know? And so, yeah, for me, that's kind of my perspective on that, is like, you should, in my experience, I think that I was dealing with a lot of foolishness. I didn't know myself. And now what I require, and not even require, what I attract, what I entertain is better. And that has nothing to do with financials. That's just a part of it. But it's just that man is out there doing his thing to get to where he was. And so we might have similar backgrounds, similar industries, whatever. But really and truthfully, it's who we had to become. And I think in that regard, you know,
Because I
it's,
hear
it's
a lot of
affected
men,
it.
I've heard a lot of men talk about this, and as beautiful as a woman may be, if she has that kind of hustle mentality or business mind, or just very ambitious, they tend to not want
It
to
can be
date.
not
They tend to
attractive.
not want to date you
A man does
because
not care, says last, but a real man does not care about how much money you make. That's why I say it's for you.
not the money, but
The mentality. Yeah,
and
I see
putting
that, and I
into
think
them.
that's an issue in society. I believe you need men. Like, I believe having a husband is important. I think it's one of the wonderful things. I think even if I'm a CEO, my job is still to be a helpmate for him, and he can be a partner for me. I don't know why we feel like you can't be a housewife and have a partnership, lift that man up, support him, pray over him, clean your house, and still do your thing. Because the man that is in my life in that capacity only make all my business endeavors better.
But what if it clashes? What if you don't have time to do that for him because you have your phone ringing, you got emails to
So that's
respond
where it's
to?
a compromise,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what it is, a partnership. And like they said,
Oh,
you
hell
have to
no.
go over all these things before you get married, and you have to work together. And I do think people are so quick to walk away. And I think if you're willing to walk away, yes, your livelihood is important, but when you merge together, you have to work that out. There has to be some understanding. I don't think a woman should just sacrifice everything, but I personally wouldn't want to be with a man who would want me to do that personally.
Thank you. Any of you want to speak to that with dating?
Yeah, going back to to what you read, I think it just comes down, at least to me, it's not about finances, and I know we put so much emphasis on that, but to me, finances or money is all energy. So I think if you decided and you had a strong mindset and you were just super like, business oriented, and you wanted to get to a certain plan or a goal, that energy putting towards that goal is gonna get you there. You know what I mean? So I think when it comes to dating, having a person to just support you in your big dreams, especially if you're a big dreamer, to not shut you down, to support you, to push you, to give you ideas, to give you a different avenue of looking at things, in ways that maybe you don't see, or you know what I mean? So I think when it comes to dating, I think if you are with me, you're going to absolutely have to like make my mind churn in ways that I probably don't, because I already have a brain that thinks really, really high. So I think I would need someone that is that way. Now, do they have to have a lot of money? Absolutely not. But do you have to have the grit, the energy to know like I will get there? Doesn't mean millions, doesn't mean anything. It just means being self-sufficient in that way, to be comfortable, cool. We're not worried about it.
Have you ever dated somebody and it's been like too much for them?
Yeah, absolutely. All my
This is a
boyfriends, I
long
think,
clip,
have
man.
been afraid. Like, I'm a risk taker. Like, I moved to California. I had a boyfriend at the time. I was like, do you want to move with me? No, I can't go. I can't leave my mom. Can't leave my sister. I hope he doesn't watch this.
What? All right.
I'm gonna
I
go
got some.
first.
Jr. gave me some questions here that he would like for me to ask. So, yeah, trying to figure out which one because he.
So I didn't mean to cut you off, but that was for the last clip. So I got some new questions, but go ahead, Lady Di.
That was brutal, Jr.
I was gonna say, she was talking about, or women really talk about, oh, they don't want to sacrifice nothing for a man, but they don't even be sacrificing nothing for their kids. So I'm trying to figure out why they get married and have kids if they can't, do what's necessary for your family. So, in my opinion, I believe that when women have children, they should at least be home with their kids, at least until they get to the school age. And that's a requirement for the betterment of your child. It has nothing to do with the man per se, but has everything to do with your child. The man, that's more of, let's say, obviously he'll be the one working, he has the money. So you're making sure that you have the necessities in the house for him to keep going out to work and be successful, not stressing out and stuff. So as the duty of a wife and a mother, you are sacrificing. I wouldn't even call it a sacrifice, that's just what you're supposed to be doing. So I just think women who think like that should not even get married or have kids, because I feel like they're going to neglect what's there and not even realize it.
Yeah, those women are for recreational use. She said for sure that if she got a phone, if the woman asked her, if your husband needs you, and you got all this phone call, and you got a time, well, that's where he's got to understand compromise is going to come in. I'm gonna have to prioritize she's communicating that her submission to her boss supersedes her submission to the relationship or whatever her husband needs. Whenever a woman talks like that, she's communicating that these women are to be work wives. These are the women when man in corporate America that are making $250,000 to $500,000 a year. These are the women that men are exercising their options with. That is why these guys they have their pick of the litter. These are the plethora of women they can pick from. These women don't have any devotion, or they don't believe in hierarchy or anything. They want equal partnership. They want to work. You know what I'm saying? They prioritize their career over anything else. Husband, kids, any of it. You know what I'm saying? You have to treat them according to the outcome and desire they want. And if you're a man that's sitting here putting his purpose around a woman like that, that's gonna put her boss before you and tell you that you gotta compromise when she needs you, you're a fool. You're a damn fool.
Don't all go at once.
Are we going in order, Sweeney, or we could just go randomly?
Are we
I'm assuming
We
randomly.
going up and
it's random,
down
ain't it?
or
It's random.
this way across?
Or we could do
Okay.
popcorn if y'all want to. However y'all want to do it.
No, I'll go. I want to go. I want to talk about it because these people, I'm sorry, there's an echo, guys. So
Oh, my
the
fault. That
lady
might be me.
when she's talking about this and she's like saying that she's gonna put everything second and he has to compromise. These women don't want men. They want. I don't know what they want. It's not even wanting a child either. A man with any type of testosterone or balls is not going to deal with that. Any man whose testosterone level is at a healthy rate or healthy uh, percentage, they're not going to deal with this crap. All these women talking about how they're boss babes and oh, you can wait. Oh, I'm on the phone. Shh, wait. And another thing is, when you have these type of ladies, you think that, oh, her hair was amazing, by the way. She was pretty and she had beautiful hair. Okay. I'm not going to take that from her. She looked beautiful. But man, that's a trap. It's like a Venus flytrap right there. She's beautiful and then you get caught. And then you know what? I think that these women, they are really trying to tell the men that they want to be the men's and they want you to fall back and fall behind. I don't think any man will. Yeah, that's all.
They want stay-at-home dads, so they won't get in the way of their, business or whatever it is.
So I think there needs to be a balance. As a person that has worked for herself for 20 years now and owned a business for more than half that time, there are certain responsibilities that you have to your career. And some of that, depending on how demanding your career is, does kind of overlap into your home life. But you have to be able to handle that in a respectful way. You have to be able to pay your partner the attention that they deserve because you would want that as well. Um, I don't think that it should be completely out of the realm of possibilities to be on the phone handling business and tell your partner, hold on 1 second, I just need a minute and take care of that business. But there has to be a work life balance. There's nothing wrong with being a woman who has a career and has ambitions. You can do both. You can have a relationship, you can have a successful relationship, and you can also have a successful career. It's really all in how you balance it. Um, work, work comes second because your life comes first. Your life. And part of that life is your marriage. But your life comes first. And yes, work does come second to your life. But we all must prioritize work as well in our lives. It's tough balancing it, but it does have to happen. And everybody has to understand it. Just like women have to understand when a man has a demanding job, if that woman has a demanding job, that man must understand that as well. And both of them need to balance work and life. Work and your partner, both of them deserve the attention, a certain amount of attention to make things work.
I
But
have a
both
question
people
for
are
you.
responsible for that.
My question to you is, remember when you said you can tell your husband, like, okay, hold on, wait, I'm on the phone? Will you do the same thing to your boss? If your husband was on the phone, will you tell your boss, shh, wait, or
Uh-oh.
shh, I'm
Uh-oh.
talking? Would you do that?
Uh,
Not if I'm at work, no.
But see, that's the point.
oh.
It's giving
But
more
if
respect
you're at
to.
work, that is where you
Wait,
are. If you are
Bohem,
at home,
that's not
if you
true,
are at
Bohem.
home,
If my husband calls and I'm at work and he's calling me about my kids, I will most definitely tell my
no,
boss,
for sure.
wait, I'm
Why
on
is
the
it gotta
phone.
be
This
about
is
the
about
kids?
my
Why
kids.
can't I just call
Absolutely,
Or
but
you?
not no
Why
no,
can't it
arbitrary
just be
phone
about
call.
me?
okay. Well, wait, I have to find out. I just use that as an example. I have to find out
No.
what it's
Just
about
say
in
just say,
general.
hey, look, tell your boss to hold on, I need to talk to you.
Yeah, and I would. I've done
Thank
it
you.
before. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. The same way that if I'm at home, because the way I think is that if you know that I'm at this opposite place, then whatever you're calling me for, like if I was at work and my man is calling me, then whatever he's calling me for must be important enough to take my attention away from work. And if I'm at home and my boss is calling me, then that 2 or 3 minutes might be, they must have felt like it was important enough to call me within that time frame, knowing I'm not at work. That's how I look at it. So that's why I would say I don't think there's anything wrong with just saying like, hey, this little 60-second conversation, it's not like I'm gonna go have an hour-long work conversation while I'm at home, the same way I'm not gonna have an
Galatians,
hour-long
we know
conversation.
that's you, but to Bohem's part, and I'm glad she did that. She's educating on men what they need to expect. Typically, women will do what Bohem does. They're gonna tell their husbands to wait. They're gonna put him on hold, and they're gonna see to their boss because their boss is higher on the hierarchy of priority. That's just what it is. It matters. It doesn't matter
That's
what
not what
should
I
happen.
said. That's not what I said. That is
Well,
not what I
it's
said.
not exactly
But
what you
to her
said, but
point, no, that is not what I said. It is not that the boss has some type of hierarchy over my husband. That's not what I said. What I said is there's no problem in saying, "Hey, hold on, give me a second," because to her point, it might be an emergency. You have a demanding career. But also, to her point, yes, if in fact your husband is not the type to just call, make an arbitrary call in the middle of the day, then if it's an emergency, yes, your boss will hold on for a second. In that
let me
case,
ask you this.
yes,
Let me ask
there
you this,
are special
Bohemian.
cases.
If your husband say, "Hey, look, you know what? I think it's time. I've saved up. You know what I'm saying? I want to go ahead and open up my practice. I need you to work at the front desk and tell your boss that this is your last 2 weeks." But your boss is adamant and saying, "Look, I need you. You're the critical piece to this company. You've been with us for 15 years. I need you. You're my Kobe." And it's the
My
fourth quarter. You know how them
centerpiece.
motherfuckers talk. And what are you gonna say to your boss?
It wouldn't be about my boss. If in fact, I saw the value, me being valuable to my
God damn
husband.
it! What are you gonna say to your boss?
If I want to go work in my husband's practice, I would say absolutely not. But if this is a career that I want and I want to stay there, then I'm going to have to stay there. It depends.
I
So
got a
There
question,
is
what
no
you
guys.
black and white
so
answer to that.
basically what you want supersedes this. Your husband saying, "Look, I figured it out. I'm gonna open up." You're gonna say, "Well, I want this."
Can I tell you why,
I got a
Darwin?
question.
Can
Oh
I
my
can I tell you
No,
why
let her
God!
that
answer first.
happens? I'm gonna tell you exactly where that whole thing came from.